Welcome back to My Teacher's a Gleek. I'm Sullivan.
And I'm Meg.
And we're your hosts.
Yes, we are.
We're missing Lexi, which we're going to address quick. She is just a student, and she is busy. So she's just not in a place where she can record with us. So she's going to come on.
Like, quite literally not in a place where she can meet up with us and record.
Literally.
And she's busy. So both not in a place and not in a place, you know?
Yeah, so literally it's just not going. So we're going to have her on for, like, some special episodes, maybe some of her favorites, some of the when she's in town. We'll figure it out and we'll let you know when she's here. But today and for most episodes, it's going to be me and Meg, who is my teacher and who is a Gleek.
Was his teacher.
Oh, yeah, I guess. I'm not in high school anymore.
No. Like
haven't been for
years.
a hot minute.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's weird. Okay, anyway.
4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were my high school drama teacher. Now we're just buddies. We're drinking mushroom coffee and tea together and talking about Glee. What else can you ask for?
What else could you ask for?
Okay, so let's start with a little synopsis. You have the wiki page up, right?
I sure do. So, this one was Showmance.
Woohoo!
Woo!
A lot kind of happens.
It does. A lot does happen. And I also started to have really big feelings about Glee.
Oh, good.
As a whole that I want to bring up, but at the right times. All right, so it started off with cheerleading coach Sue Sylvester informs Glee Club director that New Directions must have 12 members to be eligible.
Well, it actually starts off with immediately, and I wrote this down because it's hilarious.
Yes, please do.
The Glee vanity plate that is now officially on Will Schuester's car that also doesn't have, or like the bumper or whatever. Not the bumper, the little... Something is dragging along the line, but he did buy a vanity plate.
Yeah.
And he's like trying, and this whole episode is about money and like his house and like trying to like set up a life with his wife, but he did buy a Glee
and keeping up with the
vanity
Joneses. Plate. Like, you know, do you even know what that means?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm old, that's fine. It's just, it would be more like keeping up with the Kardashians. Nope, still, okay, so...
Well, like, I don't know what you mean.
Like, you're trying to be as rich and cool as
okay,
the
then
next,
I do know the metaphor
person.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you're trying, okay.
So, he's trying to stay with that, like, suburban, we have the home, we have the car, but, like, things are missing.
Yeah.
Things are missing.
Okay, continue on the...
Actually, before that, too, like, in the parking lot, I have something written down, is that, Rachel, right?
Leah Michelle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel Berry.
Rachel, okay, so she runs up and she's like, so I just went to the library and I got my sheet music. And that just resonates as a 2004 high school drama nerd. Like, you had, like...
To get sheet music.
You didn't have online.
Yeah.
You didn't, like, you had to go buy... And you know those books.
Yeah.
The Broadway books, or you had to
scan it and put them on the little
and you had to
thing.
get those anthologies.
Yeah.
Or you had to email, like...
No, wait, tell that story, because you have a story about emailing Stephen Schwartz.
How do you know that story?
You told me that a while ago.
So 2004 comes rolling around, my senior year of high school, and Wicked had came out in November of 2003.
Yeah.
That year, and I already had it memorized naturally, and I wanted to sing For Good with my friend Amy, and I was like, okay, cool. So I found, how do you just find Stephen Schwartz's email? I don't even,
what was the process like for that? You just found his email?
I did, because I emailed him. He had to have been like an adjunct professor somewhere.
Oh, probably.
You know what I mean?
Like, you had to have done, Like,
it popped up somehow in a search engine in 2004, so I don't know. And I'm sure they weren't, like, good at hiding it that much back then, right? Anyway, so I was like, cool. And he responded and gave me the sheet music For Good. And it wasn't in a book yet. So the Wicked book hadn't come out. So I got a scanned copy of his
writing
of his actual composed For Good with notes in it being like, oh, let's change this for Idina, let's change this for Kristen, let's change this. I don't have it. I don't have that anymore. Why would I have that? I must have just thrown it away when I'm like, oh, the book came out. Here's the good stuff. I wonder if Amy does. I should ask. Hey, Amy, if you're listening, do you still have that? Because it was his. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's nuts.
But that's how you had to get music. So it just was like funny because it aged it. Because like it brings you back to 2009 when this came out. Like it wasn't too far removed from me. And it's like, that was it. That's how you did it.
Yeah.
And when you're that theater nerd girl, you're like, yeah, I went to the library and I got my sheet music. Or I went to Borders and I went through all the...
There's going to be, at one point, they go to there's like a sheet music store that they eventually go to. That
there was one in St. Louis.
I don't forget what it's called in the show, but we'll come to it. It's not important right now.
Mm-hmm. So they're in the office, Sue and...
Oh yeah, Sue's I went to the library and got my favorite book, and it's the fucking rule book for show choir. And she's like, you can only have 12 and you have 5.5. She's the wheelchair kid.
Okay, so I put special ed comments. Wow, that would not fly in 2024. They called first of all a child cripple.
Yeah.
Not okay. And that he's 0.5 of a person. And I know it's a joke, and that's the point, is that she's a horrible human.
Right.
But, like, it just, even that joke wouldn't fly.
No, not at all. Eventually, we'll come back to this whole thing, because I wrote it down and I put a star next to it, because there is some special ed stuff that happens later in the season that I want to come back to, because she makes some jokes about her dead mom and the special ed students, and it doesn't even pass this first season of like making sense for Sue's character.
You mean how she euthanized her mother? Because that was in this episode.
She mentioned that she euthanized her elderly rich mother, which is so funny. And some of these are just funny comments. She just like gives him the pills. She's like, yeah, it helps you menstruate. And he goes, I don't menstruate. She goes, oh yeah? Me either.
Yeah. That's right. Me either. I don't do that either. Let's see. Teachers getting swept up in high school drama. It's just so important coming from working in a high school setting, saying that this does happen. And you can see it happening. And I know they joke around it, but Sue's program to her is everything. It's her
baby.
Life source. Yeah. And it's her identity. And so she sees that threatened. So, and he sees Glee as his identity, and like you see these people trying to take what they got through high school and relive it, but better. Yeah. And then they get on this trip, and I think that's what some teachers do. I mean, I did it. I think I did it too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it jumps to a locker scene.
A locker scene. Oh, there's one where there is a locker scene where she's like, I'll let you touch my boob if you quit the Glee Club.
That's the one. Yeah. So
he goes under the shirt, above the bra.
Above the bra. What's the point?
And he's like, and he genuinely considers it for a second. He's like, no, I should stay.
Yeah, I should stay in Glee. And I wrote this down because she even said, she's like, we are gunning for the most popular. And they're like cheerleader, football.
Yeah, right.
Homecoming,
cheer captain.
They want the crown.
Right.
They want that homecoming crown. That was the schema. And I'll get to this at the end, but I want to set it up here. Is in 2004, the schema of high school, or the hierarchy and the groups that existed in high school, the only ones you knew about were like student council.
Yep.
Like you had your
really tight net. Buttoned all the way up. Yeah.
We know what we're doing, but still popular.
Yeah.
But like pulled together. You had your cheerleaders in football.
Classic.
At least in ours, our drill team, like the dance team, was up there with their cheerleaders. They were super important. They were high competitive. Classy ladies. We love a dancer. Not trashy ladies. Because some people talk about how their dance teams were trash. But like there were these groups that almost like go back to even the 50s, like Greece. Like they stayed the same. Yeah. And that's where we were stuck.
For so long.
In 2004.
Yeah.
So when we're done with this, I'll dive into what I'm noticing about Glee that I...
Like today, like in schools today, that you're noticing?
Yeah.
I was going to mention that too, and we can have a larger discussion about it, but I do agree. I think that, I don't know. Well, we can talk more about it later.
I'm excited to dive into that, but yeah. So it just but they set this up for us too, is the schema is in their school before this series occurs, because it's at the beginning, right? It's the same schema that I lived in.
Right.
And I didn't realize how not nostalgic, but all nostalgic and pissed off I was going to be watching it. Because I'm like,
because they just keep winning. Like they are not even really good. Like the football team is not very good, but they still are so popular because they're football players.
They're part of this societal expected hierarchy of how
how it should be.
How it should be.
And anyone that doesn't fit that little norm and mold is an outcast.
And I mean, yeah. And you see it also here too, because she mentioned, she's like, people think you're gay now, Finn.
Yeah.
So
what does that make me? Your big gay beard.
That's right. But like theater is for, if guys do it, they're gay.
Right.
But really in the schema, which I'll just keep talking about it all the way through it. Girls weren't talked about in theater before Glee.
What do you mean?
When you thought of theater, you thought of...
Oh, like gay men?
Gay guys.
Oh, okay.
Women didn't have a stereotype in theater before Glee.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I'll dive into it now. I have not seen myself represented as a high school... I did not see who I was as a high school girl who was obsessed with theater represented anywhere.
Until Glee. That's
and
incredible.
What's interesting is I avoided watching Glee in 2008 and 9 because I told you it pissed me off.
Yeah, it just hit too close to home.
I think it hit too close to home. I was mad that they chose an actress that I heard wasn't nice.
Yeah.
And I didn't want, like, I was mad at her.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, and I have all these flashbacks of almost everyone I know being like, are you watching Glee, Meg? And I'd be like, no, I'm not. And they'd be like, I think you'd love it. And I now think I realize, I think all these people were like, we found you. Have you watching the show that's about you?
Yeah.
And I didn't watch it until now. And I'm watching
you
Rachel.
In high school?
Yes, I'm watching me in high school, and I'm kind of upset about it, but also really, like, energized. Because there was not the annoying, bold girl who had way too many facts about Broadway.
Yeah.
Only listened to music that most people did not want to listen to.
Right.
But had it memorized.
Yeah.
And, like, I was not worried about popularity. But I was wildly confident. Too much so. And lived in my own world. And I'm watching Rachel, and I'm like, oh my God. But I think I'm just so fascinated now because I refused to watch the show. But I now see, because I don't know if you guys remember me telling you, being like, you guys have it so lucky because theater's an accepted
right, 100%.
And it's not a dorky group.
Yeah.
And I think Glee did that for you, you assholes. Because I didn't have that.
Yeah.
And especially girls. Guys kind of did. I mean, it was only the gay guy. So Glee attacks, and I'll get to that straight guys can be...
Right. And more people are just going to join the Glee Club that you're going to see, and it's
and they attack that stereotype, and they make it cool. You were raised, this show made it cool for you to be in theater. Just so you know, back in my days, it wasn't.
Right.
And women weren't, there just wasn't a stereotype for women in theater. Yeah. They were just kind of like the girls that were in the plays.
Were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have a clear stereotype, and it's being represented like...
And it's, representation matters.
It does. Representation matters. So, yeah.
You said something that reminded me of this next point, actually.
Yeah, what is it?
That I wrote down. You said that knowing, you knew all the Broadway songs, but like that no one would want to listen to. Mm-hmm. They do Gold Digger in this episode, which is crazy. Just nuts that they do that. That Will Schuester raps Gold Digger. It's just nuts. But Rachel's in the background getting into it. And like, there's no way in hell that Rachel knows any of these words.
That is
any
correct.
of the harmonies, anything.
That is a good point.
I like kind of paused it and was like, who? Everyone else I can see being like, oh, they've listened to Kanye. And they would know.
It'd be funnier if she was like,
in the back.
What?
Like sat down and was like, like trying to fit in.
Right.
But there's no way.
There's no way. You're completely correct. Actually,
yeah.
Right, they messed up.
I know.
Because Meg Phillips would not have known. Because I was too busy trying to memorize memory.
Right. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. And
can I belt as high as Eponine? Come on.
Right. So I did write that.
That is a good point.
I also wrote down for Gold Digger, Mercedes and Artie ate that whole thing up. Yeah. That whole song is incredible because of them. And when Artie's singing the little, she give me money, that part like in the back, ooh, chef's kiss. And Mercedes in the opening, like I like
being
so good.
Still the musical theater dork. I'm like, I like watched it without a critical eye because I'm like,
right. Well, I've had enough time to watch and listen to. I think Glee, this is actually the first year that my 2023 Spotify Wrapped, my number one artist wasn't the Glee cast. This is my first time ever in...
Good work!
I know. Well, it was Taylor Swift, so like I...
Good work!
I know.
Mine's Taylor Swift.
All the time. Yeah. But they were second. But they were not number one. So I've had enough time to really appreciate the harmonies and stuff. And I think I'm going to make a Glee playlist of like the official MyTeacher'saGleek, our favorite songs.
Ooh, I'd
so
love
like
that.
Keep that in mind when you're watching these next couple episodes.
It's going to be Broadway ones because I'm a dork.
No, that's perfectly fine. There are a ton of good Broadway songs they do. And yeah.
Okay, so we're going to dive back in. Let's see. So we have that...
They just did Gold Digger.
Okay, and then yes, Celibacy Club.
Oh my God, the Celibacy Club.
Okay.
It's so funny to me that Finn goes, I was kind of on the fence about the Celibacy Club. I mean, I just joined to get into Quinn Fabray's pants.
I know. Well, because that's why a guy would.
Right, exactly.
To be like, look, I care about what you care about. Now,
let's fuck.
Yeah, let's do this. And I put Celibacy Club meeting. Kansas didn't even have that. Y'all, I'm from Kansas. Like, or if we, I mean, I feel like I would have known if we did because I was in that world.
Yeah.
And we didn't even have a celibacy club, so where are they from again?
Ohio.
Oh, yeah. Well, Kansas, Ohio, come on.
I know. Same kind of area. I think it just is to, I don't even know. Set up something later.
Yeah, just make jokes.
Just be a part of it. Sex jokes are funny.
So
speaking of sex jokes, actually, there's one where Rachel's throwing up in the bathroom.
Yes.
And Emma walks up.
I know. I don't think I wrote it down, but I was like, not okay.
Yeah. She's like, that'll come in handy for later. Yeah. Nuts.
She's not wrong.
Right. And I also wrote down with that, is Emma my favorite character? Because right now, she kind of eats. She's kind of my favorite character right now. That whole scene where she's talking to Rachel back when she gives her like the pamphlet about bulimia. Mm-hmm. And she's like, have you ever cried so hard in your car because you just are so in love with someone? She's like, no. And she cuts to her belting all by myself in the car. Like, she's so funny. And I don't think I had a deep appreciation for Emma.
How funny she was.
Until now. And
actually, I'm cycling, like, I'm going back a little bit to where she said something inappropriate. Like, oh, that'll come in handy for later. Which was, I think, my humor as a teacher.
I was going to bring up that she kind of reminds me of you in, like, the best way possible.
Because I say something and then I'd be like, that's not I
okay.
Can't. Or when I flipped you off in a hallway... And then realized I can't do that.
Right.
You said something really dickish, and I turned around, and I was like, and I just flipped you off, and you were like, there are cameras, and I was like, whoops.
I'm like 17.
I know. That's why I was like, I don't think I should be allowed to teach. Okay, all right. Then it jumps to him sitting, this is the one. Oh, wait. Let's just get to here. Hold on. All right, so Celibacy Club. Oh, I do love that Rachel for Celibacy Club is like, this is ridiculous. And just
she ate. I wrote that down too.
Because she's just like, no, this is actually really stupid and girls want to engage in this as well. And this is just dumb. And leaves. And it's like, that's where I felt seen. Mm-hmm. Is I handed it to kids all the time who were way more popular than me in high school.
Okay.
And had zero, like, I'd be like, that's absolutely stupid and I don't do that at all and I actually don't understand what you're thinking. Like, and then just leave and have zero problem doing
remorse.
it.
Yeah.
Remorse, or I didn't, like, go home and cry or think about it anymore.
Good for you.
I was able to hand it. And I think it was because I was in my own world and I thought I was really special.
Yeah. Well, you are special.
Thank you. My mom thought so. But like, no, I mean, I just had this confidence from somewhere else, some other galaxy, and
yeah.
But I saw that, and I was like, theater girls and boys, but theater girls did have that. This weird confidence that they were indestructible, and they just did not worry about social norms, and they were able to do things like that, I think.
Yeah, there you go.
And by doing that, it sets up people free to start thinking on their own, too.
Yeah.
And I think that's really valuable. Oh, I really like...
Don't you kind of love Glee? Like, it's like a swear word. Say it louder, though, for the camera, for the thing. You love Glee. Say you're a Glee. It's like...
I'm becoming a Glee. We'll get louder as the show goes on. We'll see. So... Oh gosh, Rachel convinces the Glee Club members to secretly change their performance to push it.
That is an incredible moment, and that will be iconic forever, them doing Push It. I do want to say there's one little scene that happens where they go in and they use the copy machine, Sue's copy machine.
Yes.
And I fucking love Sue. I mean, Sue is just incredible. Her lines, the delivery, Jane Lynch deserves every Emmy she got for that show. She is incredible, but she says that she wants to hobble them.
Yes, I saw that.
Did you look
what
up
does that even know?
No, I looked
what
it
does
up.
it mean? I just literally sat there and go, I don't know what that means.
I think they should be hobbled.
Yes, what does that mean?
It means to tie their legs together and make them like run around. Like that's
so these archaic, abusive ideas. Oh.
And later, after the Push It scenario, she goes,
Foster. I think they should because first I thought
they should all be sent to foster
care. She's the worst.
Just out of pocket as fuck.
Wait, I have in here before the sexy scene.
Oh my god, the weird
that this weird scene where he's in the bathtub with his wife.
Oh, that sexy scene.
No. Before, so I'm not calling that one sexy. I'm saying before the sexy scene, they were in. Oh, okay. There's this scene.
Neither of them are sexy, which let's just clarify.
Right. So
they're both weird.
Who sits in a bath like that with someone? Oh no, am I supposed to want to do that? And so that's just stream of consciousness. But I was like, I'm watching it, I'm like, oh God, like don't. I just imagined someone behind me in a warm bathtub and me sitting between their naked legs.
And like,
but here's
with
the deal.
A flaccid penis too.
So that's what I was thinking of, but then I realized I'm gay and I never have to do that again.
Right.
But I was like,
I'm gay and I don't think I ever will.
Yeah, I don't because that's the most
uncomfortable thing.
Yes. And I was like, I
agree.
And then I was like, okay, Megan, now imagine it with the right woman. And I'm like, well, I don't know the right woman yet. But I feel like I don't ever want to do this. Maybe my neurodiversity and sensory issues. But then I was like, this is the weirdest scene. And I just had to put that in there because I was like, am I supposed, as a human being, is that intimacy? Am I supposed to be
right?
in a small bathtub in someone's
I would hate that.
Legs?
I hate
flaccid penis. You're absolutely correct. That's what I was thinking.
Exactly. His dick is there.
Limp dick is just floating by her back.
Yeah, just like hanging out. Like, what? I also wrote with that, their apartment is just weird. What kind of apartment in Lima, Ohio is going to have a floating bathtub?
I know.
They live in an apartment building. Then they don't even have enough rooms for their baby. They have like a spare room. They have one room for their like soon-to-be baby. But they have like a floating tub.
Right.
And like craft closet. Like what the hell's happening?
It's fine is what it really is. What they're really trying, like it's fine.
It's fine. That is fine too.
Okay, that's fine too.
Light enough.
And then I know we are supposed to hate his wife. It's working.
Yeah, you hate Terry. You're gonna hate her a lot more too.
I hate the compromising. I sacrifice. No, she does not.
No, I know.
I just go, ew, go home.
I know. She also goes.
I know she's home, but go home.
Right. She also later goes, well, we can't raise our kids in a used home. They're dirty. A used home.
A used home.
That's crazy. That's, yeah.
A used home.
And then she...
Like a sock. No, man.
She is just camp as fuck. She also, like, this is where our daughter or gay son will sleep.
Yeah, I know.
In that, like, pink room. Just crazy. She's nuts. And you are supposed to hate her. And I have, like, kind of a... Not a respect for her. That's not a good word. But I do really... Her character is hilarious.
Right.
And, I mean, she's... We find out that she's not pregnant in this one, right?
Yeah,
she has
and I talk about that later. Yeah. Yeah, because I'm like... I love and hate her.
Right.
Because you're supposed to hate her a lot, but then I start to kind of love her a little bit.
You feel for her a little bit.
Yes.
Like she
quite literally put, I kind of feel bad for her.
Right.
Fake baby, but... Oh, okay, so back up here. Hold on, wait. The sexy scene, when they do it. First of all...
We're talking about the scene where they're on the stage and they, like, do that weird warm-up. Oh! I'm talking about... Okay, so... There are 3 now, apparently, sex scenes. I'm talking about when...
No, that's later.
When he, like, comes on her, like, prematurely, like, tries to kiss her, and then she,
yes,
they, like,
that's
make
later.
out. Okay, cool. So, the sexy scene... Push It happens before that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I put... Would have stopped that. In
any capacity.
1 million different adults. In a setting like this... would have stopped
that. Right. Well, anyone with a sane mind. But the funny part is that Figgins is dancing, like the principal, and Emma's like, or Figgins is swaying, and Emma's like shaking with it.
Right. But I mean, like,
no, there's no way.
And then they have this meeting where they're like, yeah, parents are mad, and rightfully so. It's like, you let it happen.
Go on.
The entire... Right. It is a long song of humping.
It was a good 4 minutes.
Yeah, of humping. And other sexual innuendos, which I loved, but inappropriate.
So
would have been stopped immediately. I did like that Sue in the meeting was like, I am asking for your resignation and the disbanding of that. It was like, of course you are.
Let me be the one to break the silence.
Yeah.
Like, why is she even there?
Yeah, I know. Why is the cheerleading coach there?
It's just Figgins, Will, and Sue just hanging out.
No one else. No. When we all know there would have been parents or, like, where's the fight? Like, are there other admin?
No, it's just
the principal,
Figgins.
And then Sue.
That's it.
And we let Sue in every meeting.
No, yeah,
because
she
why
just
the heck not?
because she can. She's so funny though. I suggest foster care.
I suggest foster care. Oh, and he's like, we're going to need to get them actual costumes, and we're cutting the European dry cleaning budget.
Oh, please. The dry cleaners in here are just as good as the one in Europe.
I know, I was like, you have a European dry cleaning budget. Thank you so much. But that is, like, I think a lovely window into high school budget allocation, even though it wouldn't be that extreme.
Right.
Where you look at sports and you're like, you're getting money for what? And we're asking for...
Quite literally a tap shoe.
Yeah, one tap shoe because I lost like someone. But that's
we need 3 screws to get this tap shoe.
The stage needs new wood because there's large divots in the wood, and we know this is a large undertaking. But oh no, that's fine. No, yeah, I think all the sports teams need new. What are the things on the Crocs?
Cleats?
Yeah, no, the things on Crocs.
Giblets?
Yeah. I think they need giblets to represent their sports team. You're right.
Also, they haven't won a game.
Ever.
Not a single team at the school has won.
Okay, moving on to your favorite scene. No, not really. Just one you were talking about. The stage setup of the picnic and the warm-up.
Yes. Weird.
First of all, so theatrical to do a stage
She
scene.
She made a set.
She made a set.
Yeah.
A scene.
Yeah, she set it up. There could have been an audience. She could have really, she really ate with
the aesthetic with the pillows.
Yeah, the virgin cosmos, which is just cranberry juice,
I
basically.
was just going to say, like, the only thing in Cosmos is alcohol.
Right, it's like a martini, but with cranberry.
So did you have water and cranberry? Like, basically. Or just cranberry?
Probably just cranberry. I think that you also can throw in, like, lime and simple, but, like... What the fuck?
You're busy trying to figure out how to make a...
Yeah, I'm like, what did she do in this little fucking flask?
Right.
It's like what are they called?
A thermos?
A thermos.
A thermos.
That she brings full of Cosmo.
And he said airplane cups.
Yeah.
A thermos and airplane cups.
Yeah, they kiss. It's extremely difficult to watch.
I go, oh, he likes a dork. Aww.
I know. And there's a really like wholesome moment in that weird scene where he's like, he goes, fuck, what does he say? He's like, I honestly checked under my bed to make sure you weren't there, which is hilarious.
Right.
And then he goes, but then I heard you sing.
Yes.
And then like the music kind of shifts, and it's like kind of a beautiful moment of like him like realizing that he's like actually there's something about you. Like, wait, there's like, you're kind of normal, and like you have like there's a beauty to what you're doing, and like there's a like, I love that.
Okay, I know this. We're allowed to dive into personal stuff. So I got on homecoming court. Whether or not that was, but Glee.
I know, but
set you up for it. So whether or not
I was also on student council.
A 2000. Fuck you.
I know.
2003, 2004.
The cheerleader.
Oh, you're right. You were all of it.
I was all of it.
2003, 2004. Joke on Meg. I don't know. Like, let me know, Lisa South. Was it a joke? I still don't know. It's almost 20 years.
Oh, that you were on homecoming. That I was on homecoming. You were gonna get carried.
Like, I didn't, but I don't know how I got on there or why I was on there. But I was on that court, and they paired you up with someone who was gonna, like, you know, in content. For the, and I don't remember your name. Sorry, dude. But but he had blonde hair and was on the football team.
And you were partners with him?
And I was partners with him.
Love.
And we had to do all the promo stuff with him and I. And I don't know what I talked about. Probably myself. I'm a Leo theater girl. And my mom came home. It was after someone else was already crowned, right? But my mom came home. She's like, I was at the grocery store and I ran into blank's
Jimmy.
It did start with a J.
Did it?
I think it's Jake.
Jake. We'll go with Jake. Jake, did you go to we're on homecoming court with Meg? If so, let us know. Is your name Jake?
Is your name Jake? And he's sitting there, he's like, it's James and I hate you. So, but
he's a Gleek.
She said to me, she was like, Meg, his mom said that he thoroughly, like, he talked about you quite a bit. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, he said that you were really interesting. You talked about things he hadn't talked, like, and that she was like, he just said that he really thought you were a really awesome girl. And I was like, oh, and then blew it off. But like, it stuck with me enough to be like, oh, that's cool. So I do think, so it's like, when I didn't want to kiss him. I'm gay, but like, I didn't know it. Just wanted to kiss my friend.
But been there.
Didn't do that.
I know.
But like, I watched it and I was like, oh, that kind of reminded me of like this football star. Oh, but I did think that scene, it was so corny and stupid. I thought it was fake. I thought it was a dream sequence.
I know.
And then I realized, nope, that was just
that's
corny.
Fully
that was
real.
Just it. That was it. That was real. Oh, they go to where she finds out she's not pregnant.
Yeah. Well, Finn first prematurely comes and then runs away, which will never be talked about again on the show.
They don't even talk about it?
Never again. I don't think so. And I could be wrong, and maybe I am, and we'll see in the next couple episodes here. But I don't think, like, this is a plot point. They mention it twice now, and he prematurely comes on Rachel.
Right. And they never bring it
up. And they never really bring it up.
Of course. Great.
So, what the fuck was that, Ryan?
Not worth it, I guess.
Seriously, I guess not. But anyway, yes, the terrible scene. She goes, did it fall out? Yes. And he laughs at her, and then he goes, no, it didn't fall out.
And then he called it a hysterical pregnancy.
Right.
I can't find... I Googled this because I was so frustrated. I don't know if, like, we're that, like, in 2004 or 2009, we were that antiquated. But it's a pseudocysis.
Right.
False
that's like
pregnancy.
That's like the doctor term, the medical term.
Yeah. Well, it's called a false pregnancy. You can't say hysterical pregnancy.
Oh.
Because hysterical is like demeaning to women, right? Because Hist, I think, is like what your like when hysterectomy. So you're talking about your uterus,
right?
So when someone would back in the old days say hysterical, like she's being hysterical. She's being crazy,
period,
and she's on her period. So you can't call it a hysterical pregnancy.
So it's a false pregnancy.
Yes, it is. But I was surprised they used the word hysterical pregnancy. So I just want to.
Well, they're going to use some terms in this show that you're going to be like, oh my god.
Oh, please don't do that.
I mean, Rachel says chromosomally challenged.
For being a man.
No, she's like, your friends on the football team, they're chromosomally challenged at some point. I don't remember.
Doesn't that mean they're guys?
Oh, I thought she was saying like Down syndrome.
I think just because guys have a Y, so chromosomally challenged means like you're macho guy.
Oh, I thought she was making a Down syndrome
Maybe
joke.
she is. I didn't catch on to that. I was just thinking like chromosome, like Y chromosome.
That makes like logical sense.
But
mine makes like
even more horrible sense.
like horrible sense. That's why when she said it, I was like, ah.
Chromosomally challenged.
Is it chromosomally or chromosomally? Chromosome?
It's M.
Because I wrote it down, and actually I'll show you my little note here. I wrote chromosome, question mark.
It's
like
an M. It's
an M, chromosomally.
Yeah. But like...
Is that the joke she's making, or is she...
I thought it was about just guys.
That makes, like... actual sense, like legitimate, like biological sense,
right?
Where like I don't know.
Well,
that's a great question.
Be deeply offensive, and it could have been the.
It could have been fucked.
The intent, though, too. It could have because they.
I mean, they've already made a special ed joke.
Absolutely, they're not. That's not.
Right, like
them.
they're not right. That's what I took it as, but I could be wrong. And that so Ryan Murphy, let us know.
Yeah, please. Cheerio spies.
Oh.
They try out.
Yeah. Iconic. And they give the like, say a little prayer.
Yeah.
That is iconic. Ironically, me, Lexi, and Emily did that dance.
Of course you did.
I know, right?
And I missed it, and I wouldn't have even known.
I'll have Lexi send the video.
Yeah.
And I'll maybe put it in something.
Yes, that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we were so dramatic.
I think it's funny that they were like, we're going to do this. She's like, because I want my boyfriend back. And Sue's like, no.
I don't care about that as much.
That doesn't bother me. Like, that's not my intent.
Yeah.
You will be my spies.
Yeah, she's like, I don't give a fuck.
This is where I put wife sucks, fake baby, but I kind of feel bad for her. Like, she faked that. She's like, it's a boy.
I know.
That first, like, I don't know what I would do if someone was super excited, but I wouldn't let it go on for as long as I think she's gonna let this go on, because this is a show and I am not stupid. And I understand at least some sort of
plot and like you have to
it's not like she's gonna tell him next episode, but I do feel bad for her. And in that moment I can see a woman like saying the wrong, like being like, it's a boy, and then like having emotions about it, and then telling them like an hour later, it's just like,
I'm
later.
so sorry, I can't. Yeah, but no, it's gonna be a second there.
Yeah,
which you are right about. Yeah, I agree. You feel for her a little bit, but she's nuts, and it's gonna get crazy.
I put down. Again, this was just, we've already talked about it, but that Rachel, like, I wanted to hate her because I didn't like Leah Michelle.
Right.
But she gives life to theater girls.
Yeah.
Said she validates their awkwardness, bold but obsessed with Broadway facts, performing attention, but no fear of not being popular. So we already talked about that.
Yeah.
And then just that, again, that Glee is revolutionary for the world of theater kids. Because before this show, our representation was just that of band people.
Yeah.
We were just a different group of dorks.
Yeah.
And I think Glee and all of its seasons normalized the love of musical theater in all people, not just gay boys.
I agree. And that's what I was going to bring up, is that they like do so many different songs that like they're going to do Sunset Boulevard, and they're going to do like, they're going to have episodes dedicated to like Fleetwood Mac.
Right.
Or like Madonna. And then they're also going to have like, they're going to do Kiss. And they're going to do, you know what I mean? They do a lot of different things. And I've seen some TikToks lately that's like, I just started like watching Glee or listening to Glee. Mm-hmm. And like, I get it. It's like the music is fire. It's like a perfect amount of like choir and pop culture.
Yep.
I don't know.
What they did was, they took the stereotype of theater kids and they transformed it to where you guys are on the level of not being, because I was like, how are people at our school not embarrassed? You know, I watched a lot of popular kids be in the shows.
Well, we've had people win Homecoming King.
Yeah, well, that's just
who were like in every musical,
right?
You know,
and that just would not have happened.
No, not at all. They would have been carried.
Yeah, carried.
That's like the point. Yeah.
Or if you got on, you're not sure how. I really do want to know, like the South 2004. How did I get on there? Was it a joke?
Someone let us know.
Yep, someone just let us know. Actually, my 20-year high school reunion is coming up. I'll see if I can figure out.
Oh my god,
answer.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yes, that's so funny.
I'm going to Kansas for it.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. That is so cool.
Because now I get to be not just the weird theater girl.
The weird lesbian theater girl.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
it. So fun. That tracks.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, it completely changed and revolutionized the world of theater. And we see this, how it increased. So when I was auditioning for musical theater schools in 2003, 2004, the competition I thought was hard. Yeah, right. We're looking at stats now where, what is it, like 0.5% acceptance rate?
Wow.
At schools? 0.5%.
It's crazy.
Guys, listen to that again. If you're auditioning for colleges, you're looking at a 0.5% acceptance rates for musical theater.
But also not to diminish your hope.
No,
you
absolutely.
You could be in the 0.5%.
You could, but I'm saying this completely changed it to where people are passionately pursuing it.
Right. Where like it was kind of a niche market of like people that... Yeah.
And no, don't diminish your hope. I'm just saying you're entering into...
It's so much harder.
A competition that's completely different than...
I also think the game has changed. Like the game has completely changed about like how to get there and how to like... I mean, I went to school for a year in Michigan for musical theater, and the stuff I was learning was completely different from the stuff that I was told about in high school, of like how to do it and everything. Right. Like it was just completely, it flipped it and reversed it completely. Like it is just a different ball game now.
Yep. It did. It changed everything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see also, Sullivan, if I can get a picture of me in high school.
I would love that.
If we can get that in there.
I would love that.
I know there's at least one of me in high school just really being proud of who I was.
Love. I'm excited for that. And I'll find them and send them to me. That's so funny.
So, and I will.
I love that.
I think I'm ready for episode 3 though.
That's your last little bit. The last thing I have is that it ends with Take a Bow by Rihanna in the worst possible fucking key ever. Yeah. It's a beautiful song in Rihanna's voice, and it brought me back to, ironically, when like in class, like theater class, we did like the contemporary like unit where you like had to sing a pop song. It's so Broadway. Like, you look so dumb right now.
Yes.
It's like, get out of here.
I was thinking that when I saw it. I was like,
yeah, it is awful.
But gosh, you got to do that a little bit.
I know, it's funny. Well, it's so funny.
That's what you were just talking about. Is you're melding this stuff together.
Exactly.
And this is how you're kind of like, I don't know, brainwashing people to think
that it's cool.
That it's cool.
Leah Michelle brainwashed the world into thinking that Glee is cool, and she did it.
To the point where there's a 0.5% acceptance rate in college programs. But I think that's kind of how it worked, you know?
Yeah,
that's how
that'll do it.
But you're right, it was ridiculous.
Just ridiculous. This whole show is ridiculous. I'm also so excited for episode 3. That's Acafellas, which is next. And have you watched it yet? Have you...
I think we have seen it.
We did it, and because I have notes for it already that were pre-written.
I do too on my phone.
Yeah, so we'll rewatch it for the next episode, and then we'll debrief because that's a good episode too, and it's only gonna get.
And I haven't seen episode 4, so
good. That's where I'm at. That's like when I queued it back up and like pressed like on Disney Plus to like get it back up. It said next episode 4.
I want to see I think we're good. We good? How do we sign off?
I don't know.
Should we come up with a sign off? A tagline, something we gotta do.
Yeah, we'll think of something.
Yeah.
We love you all so much. We are Gleeks and proud. My teacher's a Gleek. I'm a Gleek. I don't know how to end this.
I don't know. Bye.
Bye-bye.